Hi, everyone. Welcome to one more episode of STEM Heroes. And today we are going to interview Dr. J, our women change maker. And hey, Dr. J, how are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
Great. I'm so excited to have you here and learn more about you.
Fantastic.
Please
I'm excited to be
introduce
here.
yourself and share a little bit about you, about your career.
Yep. Well, my name is Dr. J. I am actually a forensic scientist. I have a background training in analytical chemistry. I also own the YouTube website, Hey Future Scientists. It's a website that's dedicated to younger children, and it shows all diverse. It's a show that's based on diversity and inclusivity of the sciences. So on this website, you'll see a lot of kids of a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different ages doing science with me.
That is exciting. That is awesome. So, what made you choose this career, this STEM career?
Right. So this career actually kind of chose me. Whenever I started my career in college, I actually started as a music major. So when I went to University of Florida, I was a piano performance major, and I changed from piano performance into a program called digital arts. Now, with this program, it was through the engineering program, so there were a lot of science and a lot of math. And I said, hey, I'm good at this, and I actually kind of like it. But what changed everything was one specific teacher. I had a teacher in analytical chemistry in college, and the work that he did was so fascinating to me. And I said, how can I do what you do? And I literally asked him after class, what do you do? Can I do research with you? And how can I do it? This is truly coming from a music background. Like, I came in for piano performance, and I told him about my interest and my interest in his work. And he brought me on as an undergraduate researcher, and my career went from there.
Wow, that is so exciting. So, all your middle school, high school, your mind was set to be a
A
pianist.
pianist. Absolutely. I went from piano to music composition to music business, but everything that I wanted to do was in the arts. And I still play to this day. I still perform. I still enjoy it. I'm a classical pianist by training. I've been playing since I was 7 years old. So it was definitely in my heart to do, and I still am able to do that. It's really interesting to see how much science, math, and music all go together.
Yes.
Music is math. Music is another language. And so it just kind of guided me into what I'm doing now. The work that the teacher was doing that got me interested was in cancer research. But the work that, and I never knew anything about what he was doing until I met him.
Mhm.
But the work that he did in his lab also involved music. I found out that most scientists have some type of art background as well.
That is so interesting. And how cool is that? I love piano too. And it's
Mhm.
funny you mentioned that it has to do with math because I remember when I took a few lessons, that's what the teacher said. She said it has a lot. When I try, oh, she was teaching me how to read, the music sheet, and she said it has a lot to do with math. I was like, okay, that is interesting, right? And now
Yep, it's
you're
since
saying that
rhythms.
it's like, wow, how amazing. So this is
Yes,
really interesting and very exciting, for kids that are in the arts, but they also want to be in STEM. That doesn't mean
right,
that you have to stay in math and science during your middle and high school. You can be in the arts
right.
too, right? And
Absolutely,
you be in a STEM career,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Like I said, I started out in college as a music major. So all of my courses for my first semester were music based. They were theory, they were piano performance, they were voice, digital arts, electronic music. It wasn't until later on that I switched into chemistry.
Wow. And
Mhm.
how did how did you feel in that transition? Was that transition difficult? How long did it take for you to complete your studies? Because I know when you have one major and you're switching to something else, it might keep you longer in school, or how did that play out?
So I actually took courses over the summertime to try to make sure that I graduated within 4 years.
Okay.
So it actually worked out okay. because the classes that I took under my music major became my electives. And I still graduated on time. And I had fun in the process. So it was actually kind of scary because whenever I moved into the sciences, I felt as though there were other people who knew more than me, but we all didn't know anything.
Okay,
But
that is cool.
because I came in from a music background, I really felt as though I had a disadvantage, but I didn't.
That is incredible. I love hearing that. And
Mhm.
would you consider that there were challenges? What challenges did you face as you entered the STEM career? And how were you able to overcome them?
Okay. Well, one of the first things that happened, I went to an institute that was, so for college, you have HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, and you
Mhm.
have universities that are not historically Black. So they are predominantly other races of people. The first hurdle that I encountered was being typically the only person who looked like me, whether I be an American, a woman, or a person of color in my classes. Um, People tended to gather around those who they look like,
Yeah.
which often left me isolated and learning on my own until I found a group of people who saw me for a scientist, who just saw me for me, and found my group within the sciences to work with. So my biggest hurdle was trying to find peers to work with on a routine basis when I first came into the program.
That is very interesting. And
Mhm.
which did you go to an HBCU or which school were you studying?
But so I went to University of Florida, and we would consider that a PWI, a primarily white institution. So
Mhm.
there, I'm also a member of a historically uh, Black sorority, which helped out quite a bit, but I was still the only scientist in that entire sorority. There were
Oh,
other people who were architect majors.
mhm.
There were other people who were business majors, and we would get together because our coursework was very intense. So we would study together just so that we could be together. But there was no one in the sciences to study with me until later on.
That is interesting. So
Mhm.
this was one of the challenges that you faced. So
Absolutely.
did you feel like giving up at any given moment, or you felt more inspired to push forward and say, no, because there's not many, I'm going to do this? How did you feel?
So there was a definite point where I felt like giving up, and I can remember the exact class. And it felt like everyone paired up to work through this class. Our teacher was not the best at conveying information, so it was left upon the students to try to figure it out for themselves. And it truly left me in a very isolated spot.
Mhm.
What kept me going wasn't necessarily the fact that I was isolated. It was the fact that I came across this teacher who was doing a research, and I said, I'm going to do that, period. No one's going to stop me. I don't care what hurdles I have to overcome. It's going to happen, period. And that's what happened. I pushed through and I persevered through specifically that one class and feeling isolated and feeling alone. And I was the only African American there. It wasn't until after that class that it became part of my mission to introduce the sciences to people of all backgrounds.
That is amazing. I love hearing that. So, what advice would you give to the youth or anyone who would like to work in your career?
So I would say, let someone know. I am a forensic chemist. So part of my job is to go around to different countries, different states, all across the world and help people solve crimes. I use science to solve crimes. And it's not a career that I ever thought that I could do. Whenever I think of a chemist, most people think of a teacher, a professor, or maybe Bill Nye the Science Guy. And I'm none of those things. My career was never on paper. It was never publicized. And there's so many different things that you can do in the sciences, period, not just chemistry, but in the sciences and engineering and math that people never know about. So my suggestion would be, if there's something that you want to do, say it. Let someone know. You never know who's going to be around you who can help you get there or introduce you to someone who knows that area.
I love that. That is a great advice because
Mhm.
sometimes we are in a field and especially being young, kids might feel, shy or not so sure about it and even thinking
Right.
about giving up. But I think support and mentorship and communicating with others definitely comes a long way, right?
Absolutely. And also seeing someone who looks like you, who's doing it now or has done it. It's great to have historical references, like Benjamin Banneker, but you have people in 2024 who are doing it now, who are trailblazing, who are making strides that people have access to, whether it be via YouTube or by word of mouth from someone that you know. But the biggest piece of advice I can say is ask someone or let someone know what your desires are. There are people around to get you where you need to be.
I love that. There are people around to get where you need to be. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I
You're not in this by yourself. You're never in this by yourself.
I love it. Thank you so much for all the gems that you have dropped. What other recommendations do you have any other recommendations regarding colleges or anything you would like, to share?
Absolutely, I do. So this is not only for children, but for their parents as well. One of the things that's important to me is making sure that people feel as though they belong when they go. So it's quite often the case from the colleges that I've taught at or the colleges that I've gone to interview or to do lectures at. One of the things that's a consistent topic is that kids say, I didn't know that this existed, or it just felt weird for being here. It just didn't feel right when I first came. Now it's good. So one of the things that I advocate for is if you have the ability to take your kids to a college, it can be a community college right around the way. It can be your nearest local college or a college somewhere in the state. Just walk around the campus with them. This is where you belong. See this class? These are regular people. You belong here. You fit in and you deserve this. I would also let people know, especially if you're in the state of Florida, that you can always work for scholarships by your grades only. Florida is one of the states where you can get a full paid scholarship by doing volunteer hours and making sure your grades are good. So my one thing that I would say, try to get to a college campus, just not even to go to a class, just to walk around and feel as though you belong
Just to
and
visit.
experience that atmosphere, to get used to it,
Mhm.
and to get yourself prepared for college financially by taking advantage of the maybe Florida Bright Future Scholarship or something else where you really don't have to put forth anything other than your mind and effort to get your school paid for in full.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. J. I love all the
You're
gems you
welcome.
have dropped. Love all the advice. That's amazing. I appreciate so much your time. And
Thank you so much for
everyone,
having me.
oh, what's a pleasure. And everyone, if you want to watch the full video, please tune in on our YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe. And you're going to watch a snippet of this video on Instagram at Mrs.AskForSuccess. And you're going to watch the full video again at Bella the Scientist series on YouTube. And where can people find you and connect with you, Dr. J?
You can find me on YouTube at Hey Future Scientist. Hey Future Scientist, that's you.
Awesome. So make sure you tune in and you subscribe to her channel too. I'll see you guys on the next episode of STEM Heroes. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you.